Hey guys, it's Brandy Lynn, the host of Rad Chat with Brandy Lynn, and today I'm going to introduce a new segment. I'm going to incorporate it in between some of my interviews and just pop up here and there, but today is going to be episode 1 of Tattoo Stories. I love tattoos. As you can see, I have a lot of them. I do tattoo modeling or inked modeling, whichever you want to call it. I model my tattoos, but I love tattoos. I love tattoo culture. I grew up with tattoos, so it's really meaningful to me, and I think Tattoo Stories is a very impactful segment, and it goes hand in hand with Rad Chat interviews because tattoos are really storytelling. Most people, or at least me, we pick tattoos that tell a story about ourselves or a moment in time or a relationship with someone, or just maybe you got drunk and got a tattoo. But anyways, there's like a story behind every tattoo. And Rad Chat is about storytelling, life stories, getting to know people and their cultures, what they've been through, their journeys to their careers. So what better way than to get and dive into other people and more stories than talk about their tattoos? It's fun too. So I will have guests that come on and talk about theirs, but for now I'm just gonna share some of mine. For episode 1, I'm going to mainly talk about my sleeve, my Alice sleeve. This is my pride and joy, guys. It's not finished yet. I will be making it a full sleeve. It's going to be very clean and flush to my wrist. It just takes a long time. And so when I got my sleeve, I was gonna get a full one, but then I was really trying to work on other parts of my body, and being modeling, you want to make sure other parts are seen. So then I start working on my thigh, and then I start working on my leg, and then I worked on my arm, and now here we are. But it will be a full sleeve, so stay tuned for that. But for now, it is a half sleeve. This one's very in-depth, and it's my pride and joy. I look at it every day, but this one I will talk about for this first episode. Just to give you some background, I grew up in New Jersey, and I grew up in a family of tattoos. My mother has tons of tattoos. For anyone that's seen my mom or knows my mom or seen pictures, she is covered in tattoos. She has more than me, probably, most likely more than me. I get it from my mama. Shout out Chris. Also, my dad had a lot of tattoos growing up, and my sister started getting some. I have more than her, but she does have some as well. And then my dad had his own motorcycle club, so growing up he was the president of his own club, and so all these bikers would be over, all filled with tattoos. We had tattoo parties at the house. My mom got a big tattoo on her boob at the time. Yeah, I've had a lot of tattoo experiences and different artists, and we would see people, and you would see, I just was so immense in that culture that it was just so amazing, and I loved it. And then I grew up, and now here I am with tons of tattoos. It's just a lifestyle, but it's like a meaningful lifestyle, because for me, my tattoos tell my story of my life, and I think that is how I express my art. I'm not an artist, I'm not creative, but for some reason I believe that my body is my art. So please ask me what my tattoos mean, because I love when people come up to me and they're like, oh, why'd you get this? Or, oh my gosh, I love your tattoo. Someone just did this the other day at Office Depot, and I loved it. It's like the greatest compliment. Like, compliment my tattoos and I'll love you. Anyways, so I come from a very heavily tattooed family and just culture I grew up on. Imagine Sons of Anarchy, that was my life, just minus the killing. And no one got forked in the head. So let's get into it. So I'm gonna start with my Alice in Wonderland sleeve. I got this probably about like 5 years ago, maybe. So for living in California, in Southern California, with all of the sun, it actually has done pretty well. I do take care of it. In the beginning, I put a lot of sunscreen on. Nowadays, I don't as much, so I definitely need to touch her like face up. But I live in California, so it's very sunny. But I do make an attempt to, anytime I'm driving and I don't already have something covering it, I will put like a flannel and I'll drive with that, so it never gets sunlight from my car window. So I try really hard to like make sure I do take care of it. I also use some products on it too, which I can link if you guys want me to. Anyways, so I got it about 5 years ago, and my artist is Mario Daggett, who also has been on Rad Chat episode 1, so it makes perfect connection. And the reason it's Alice in Wonderland is because I'm a Disney girl. I have grown up on Disney my whole life. I had the VHSs, I had everything you could imagine, dreaming of going to Disneyland and Disney World, and then to like have an annual pass. It's just amazing. It's so depressing it's closed right now, so let's not talk about that. But also, I miss it. So I was a big Disney girl. I grew up on it. I remember very vividly, I had, let's go old school technology. We had the TV when the VHS tape was like connected into it. So you would put the movie into the TV. It was like all connected. And I watched Alice in Wonderland so many times that it like ate the VHS. So then it like burnt the whole movie, and it was a very sad day. But then I basically broke the TV. So I just loved Alice. I always just so immersed in the Wonderland and the wonder and the curiosity, and it was just so fun. As a little girl, you like imagine a world like that, and it's just like so imaginative. And also for me, who was like a very curious person my whole life, I really connected to Alice. I thought I was Alice, and I still think I am Alice. I'm very curious, I ask a lot of questions, I talk a lot, and I just am always wondering, you know, and I try to live in the magic, and Alice is trying to live in the magic. She's exploring this new world, and I feel like I'm always trying to do that as well. So a main reason is I love that movie. I think there's so many life lessons in it that kind of get overcast by like the drug world that thinks about Alice. You know, it's trippy, and it is trippy, but when you really, and some people that think, oh, it's just a Disney movie, but it's like, yes, it's a Disney movie, but it's so meaningful, and literally so many life lessons in that movie. Like, so yeah. And I also made sure to do all the traditional Disney characters. I, of course, love the Tim Burton ones. I've seen every Alice. I've seen all the Tim Burton ones. I've seen the original. I've seen the British version. I've seen all of the made random ones. I've seen them all. I actually own all. I own the Tim Burton ones on DVD, the normal one on VHS and DVD, and I have the British version on DVD, which is this really random one. Sorry guys, we're in quarantine also, so don't judge me. I'm not wearing makeup, and just bear with me and be nice with me because it's my first one by myself. It's really easier when you have a crew. Anywho, so I made sure I got all original Disney because that's my favorite. Classic, and just classic Disney and classic Walt. The reason I got Alice as the main person because this whole sleeve represents my journey and my life, and so Alice is the main person because she represents me, and I'm Alice, and I really connect to her and her characteristics of being curious and wonder and just really like trying to figure out life is really what she's doing. And I got her in the action of falling. You could kind of see the way she is. She's got her hands up and it's like she's falling down the rabbit hole. I specifically picked that part of the movie and that like photo reference because I wanted it to be like I'm falling into my new life in California, because I got this when I moved from New Jersey. So it was like me going in, her going in Wonderland, but like me going into a new life, which is essentially what she's doing too, right? So I put a lot of thought into that. And then also just her like innocence is really important because she's so pure, and I feel like that is really good to have. I feel like I have that childlike quality. Like I love Disney. It's always going to be something about me. I might be 25, but Disney's my everything. So yeah, call me a princess. I don't care. I am a princess. And I feel like even when I'm 50, I'm still gonna love Disney. So it's just that innocence and purity of just like, it's okay to be a child sometimes. It's fun, and that's where you get like, you know, innocence is a good thing. And it's, you know, some people are so hard nowadays, they don't have that, and you need to go to Disneyland and unharden yourself quick. So that's why I have her as the main character. When we go over to the side here, I have the drink me bottle. Let me get closer. This represents a couple things as well. I have it represent I chose to have it on me because I think it's important, because there's two sides to the coin. When she just takes the bottle to drink it and it makes her shrink or unshrink, it's important because one, she's taking risks, and I think risks are really, really important in life. You should take risks, you should go after things, you should just have a sense of like no fear, but also you should then sometimes go with your gut feeling. So she obviously like thinks she's okay and she's just going along this way and it's gonna help her, so she doesn't have a gut bad feeling. But if you do have a gut bad feeling in life, you should question things. So I feel like I have it on there to remind me of both sides. Like one side is like, don't be so fearful and take a chance, but the other side is like, okay, like some things you do have to like really be careful about. So that's why I have it on there. Also, I think it's a really fun thing because it's like I'm always like I eat too much, or I don't, or I drink too much, or I don't. So it's like a fun little like magical element as well. Also, you can see that the top is very like yellows and oranges. Obviously it's a little more faded. That is going to represent that she's outside and also falling in. So then it goes into darker colors. So you have the green, you have the purples, and then pinks, and then it'll go into darker colors, probably more darker pinks, purples, and blues once it's finished. But then that'll show that she's in Wonderland. It was a little touch of like her falling from the hole. Okay, so then as we keep going, we have our main little bae, the little Cheshire cat. The Cheshire cat I have here because you just look at him and he's always there looking at me, and I look at him and it's just a happy little friend. That's why I have no friends, because I just said that. Anyways, I have the Cheshire cat for a couple reasons as well. One, how do you not love the Cheshire cat? He's so fun and like secretive, but also really like trying to help her like find a way and give her life lessons. So the main reason is there's a part in the movie where she doesn't know which path she should take, and the Cheshire cat basically tells her like, if you don't know where you're going, it doesn't matter where you go, like you can pick any one and just make it what it is. And I think that's very insightful, because there's so many things you could do in your life, paths you can take, and really like it's up to you to make it there. So you can go one way and then from there you take it one way, or you can go another way and from there you do what you gotta do to bring your life that way. So I think that's a really good life lesson, because it really doesn't matter which path you choose as long as you make that path yours. And when I was growing up, that was really powerful to me, especially when I was moving. It was like, okay, like that's true. And especially because I drove cross country by myself from New Jersey at 18 and I had no fear. And I think that was a main part, because I had that in my head, like I'm gonna take this path, I don't know where it's gonna lead me, but that's the like fun of it, and like we're gonna see what happens. So that's one reason. Also, the cat is just really fun and secretive and kind of reminds me of Scorpio. Like we're very like known to be secretive but also like mischievous, and I think it's just a fun element to have of like the imagination. Like he disappears, he comes back, and I think that element just to have is a fun element because it's playful. And like in life we should just be playful, and it's, you don't want to be too hard. It kind of ties into the innocence as well. But the Cheshire cat, Cheshire I call him, he's just a fun character, and he really does help her along her way, and really good inspiring her too on her journey. So then we also have the white rabbit. There he is, his umbrella and his clock. Of course you can't not have his clock because he's always late, and you do have him in a shocked face because he's usually always shocked, and he's like kind of running. I chose the white rabbit as well to show because he is a really good one to have, because one, he's always late, and I try to live my life of always being on time. So it's like a fun like catch-22, because it's like for work I'm always on time. If I have to be somewhere for someone, I'm always on time. But the minute I make plans like, hey Jennifer, let's go to Disneyland, I'll pick you up at 7:20, I always end up there at like 7:30, and I'm like, how is this possible? I'm always early, like 30 minutes early to everything else. But the minute I want to go somewhere with Jennifer, shout out to Jennifer, I'm always late for her. I don't know why. She lives up the street. So it's like a fun thing, because it's like I feel like I'm always late for like the stupidest things, but like the really important things, like I'm like, I can't be like the white rabbit, I have to be on time. I also feel like it's a fun one to have too, because he really introduces Alice in the beginning. Like she follows the rabbit down the hole, and she follows the rabbit into the house, and it's just kind of like brings her on this pathway. So you can't have Alice without the white rabbit. Also, then we have the Mad Hatter's hat. I didn't want his face because the traditional Mad Hatter is really ugly. Like, I love you, but you're ugly, I'm sorry. So I just put his hat because he's very important. I do have the Mad Hatter because Mad Hatter is really important for a couple reasons. One, we're all mad here, and that is like my favorite line besides Curiouser and Curiouser, because I was a very misfit person. I was very black sheep, and I didn't belong anywhere. And then I saw Alice, and it's like, oh, we're all mad here. They all belong. They're all having this tea party. There's a rabbit, there's a hare, there's a little mouse, and it's all cool. And like, it doesn't even matter. And I think that was just so empowering for me when I was growing up, because it was just, anyone could come sit at the table, and I didn't think that was possible everywhere else, because I just didn't belong. I really didn't belong with my family. I mean, like, my family, I had a hard time, and then friends, I had a hard time. I was bullied, and it was like, oh, okay, like, cool, we're all mad here. Like, I get it. Like, I might be crazy, but at least I belong somewhere with like a group of people. So I got that main reason for the Mad Hatter, because shout out to him, we're crazy but we're cool. Also, I got it fun for him because he is like Alice's protector, and I think that's so important to just have someone there for you, if that's a friend, a partner, your parents, whatever it is. But it's really important to have that, and he really looked after her and helped her along her way, especially if you read the books or you see the Tim Burton movies and the second one. Mad Hatter's just always been there, and it's just a good jolliness to him, because not only is he a protector, but he's just a fun person to be around, and he has his whole own story that you really connect to. Like, he's crazy, but he also like it's fun, and it's like a good time. He just wants to have tea all the time, and I feel like that's like me and my coffee. I always want coffee, like he wants tea, so we're cool. So that's why I got the Mad Hatter. And then you see there is a bunch of hearts around. So I wanted to incorporate the hearts because obviously the Queen of Hearts is the main character of the movie, but I'm team heroes, not team villains. So I obviously wasn't gonna get her on me, but I felt it was important to add because the Queen of Hearts is like the part, you know, you don't have Alice without having that part of the story. And I think it's important because she's obviously rotten and evil and she wants to cut everyone's heads off. But for me, it was like, I'm never gonna be like that. I feel like I have a really true heart, and I just always want to make sure my heart is the thing people remember me by, and like the magic I bring to them. So I felt like it was a twist on that, because instead of having like evil, I feel like I'm trying to live in magic. So my heart is so pure that I feel like I'm brought in this world to hopefully bring magic to people. So I got the hearts to kind of represent my heart as like a play off of Queen of Hearts. So it's like I'm the queen of my Wonderland of Hearts, which is like nice. So yeah, that is what I have. And then I do have this like smoke arrows through it, which aren't exactly complete because we're not done with it, and that will also transition to her falling. That is kind of a rundown of each character. I can post another video of this. Actually, when it first got done, you'll see more details. But these were the characters I started with because they meant the most to me. The Mad Hatter is one of my favorite characters. He is just so pure of like being mad, but like that's what's great about him. And it's like a life lesson also to not judge people. Like, he might have went nuts and hit this world, but we don't know what he went through in his personal life, and it's just another ode of like, you don't know what people go through, so just always have an open mind. And that's what Alice does. She really takes to the Mad Hatter and they become friends. The White Rabbit's such an important character because it's a remember of time. Time is always of the essence. You don't know how much you have of it, how much you're gonna lose of it. You might be late, you might be early, but just don't forget that it's just time and you shouldn't get lost in it. You should just be living for the moment. And I think that's the reminder also of the White Rabbit, because it reminds me that yeah, I could be early, I could be late, or maybe I'm always late or I'm always early, but it matters of what I'm doing, not so much the time. So when I get to the place I'm going, that's what matters. So that's also a reminder for me. The Cheshire Cat is so important because it just reminds me to just never lose way, because you pick your own path in life and you can't blame anything, because like everyone has things happen to them and struggles, we've all had them, but it just matters what you do from there. And that's what the Cheshire Cat really is. Like, you pick your own way, you go your own direction, but it's up to you what you do with that. And then also he's just such a funny little clever guy, and I wish I was more clever like him sometimes. So gotta give it up to little Cheshire. The potion bottle is just another magical element. It's just fun, and it really just shows you like, be careful what you wish for, but also don't be afraid. And then last but not least, we have great old Alice. She's my favorite. She's just so whimsical, and it's just so magical about her, and she's just such a pure character. And she is a princess because technically in England she's royalty, so she's a princess. She gets forgotten a lot, but her movie is such a classic. It's so classic, and it's the only Disneyland ride that was like built when they first opened, and it's in Disneyland, it's in every park, it's in Florida. And they have this huge thing in Tokyo and Paris and all these places for her. So Alice is the OG, if you think about it. Yes, Snow White is the actual OG princess, but Alice has been around. She was the first. The teacups ride has been around forever. So don't be hating on her. Anyways, I just wanted to share my sleeve story. Short but sweet. I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of other moments of why I've gotten it or reasons, but to sum it up, Alice in Wonderland is one of my favorite movies. That is why I got it on my arm, because it's the biggest piece of my body, the first thing people really notice about me. I got it on this side. It's my good side. And this is actually my girly side. I have a girly side and I have like a rocker side. And so yeah, so this kind of started my girly side and my Disney side. If anyone has any questions, comments, let me know. And please be nice. And yeah, so that is my Alice in Wonderland story. You guys should go watch it. It's on Disney Plus. You can watch it probably everywhere. But it's really great and you should go rewatch it because the life lessons are amazing. Okay, bye!